Hello and welcome back to Riot Report. I am so glad you're here. It's like you never even left. That's the feeling we want. It feels good. I'm really glad to see all of you here checking out the stream. Riot Report is the second episode, or this is the second edition now, and we are going to bring you everything we can from the community, from Riot. This is a show for you, by us, but also by you, by the community. Everything you make, you say, you do, along with what Riot's doing here across the board. We're gonna take that and beam it to your brain to make sure you know what is going on and how we are working on things and how your suggestions are helping us to work on things. Now, this show is on a every other week cadence, so we will be back on November 6th, and we have a lot to cover today before we get to that point. Now, this show today will go over a lot of things. We're gonna go over some PBE changes, patch updates, the 10 days of gifting. We have a really cool interview along with Riot Wittrock. He is a game designer here at Riot Games, and more specifically a lead set designer on the TFT set 2. So we'll be able to talk to him about what went into set 2 and how he was able to make everything work with that team and how much work they put into it. And I am very happy to announce that before today is over, we are bringing back Summoner Showcase again. Let's go. Summoner Showcase is back with Swimbananas, and we're gonna have a lot of the awesome content that the community has been providing over the last 10 days and over the last 10 years to celebrate League 10 with us. It's gonna be amazing. I cannot wait. So let us start with the Riot Roundup. The Riot Roundup is going to take us through a lot of the things throughout the day, and then we'll get on to a little bit more of Summoner Showcase and the interview and kind of the bulk of the day. But Riot Roundup will let you know everything that's happening now, and we are going to start with the 10 days of gifting. I hope you have been participating in 10 days of gifting, everybody, because this is something that you really need to get yourself in for. It is day 6 right now. There'll be the prestige points later today as they are released, but get those orbs, get those chocolate cake balls and whatnot, everything gobbled up, and you're gonna get you some awesome stuff. I really wanted to let you know what I kind of had in my orbs, but I opened them all at the same time. I realized I had done so many quests and played so many games, and then went into my loot box, and I was like, I'm gonna let everybody know what I have. And then I just started opening the Masterwork chest, a champion capsule from leveling up, my chocolate orb, my vanilla cake orb, and I have no idea what I got. It was a lot of cool crap, but let me know what you got. Hashtag Riot Report on Twitter. Let me know what you were getting. Also, be sure to check out your shop because that is open now for the 10 days, and you could have some legendary skins in your shop, which is actually pretty sweet. I had Zombie Brand coming up. Brand is one of my favorite supports to play. Let's see what everybody's chatting about. Prestige points, yes, I know you want them. They're gonna be fantastic. A lot of people said, like, I played too many of the same thing before the store opened up, so they're like, I have all these. But then there was a pretty cool prestige ones. I saw a lot of winter skins as well, which is awesome. I always think those ones that you just cannot get any other time are really ones to pick up because they're really awesome in game. They usually have some pretty cool effects for winter. So check out your shop. Make sure you do get into that. Moving on a little bit here, we have to talk about patch 9.21. It is out, and Halloween is coming up. So we will have to check out those skins, but do not forget to log in on October 27th as we are speaking about skins right now. The Anniversary skin will be coming out for the 10 days of gifting. Now, this is October 27th, so it's bumping it up one day. It is that 11th day. We're turning it up a notch, but if you don't log in on the 27th, you won't be able to get Anniversary. It doesn't work like the other quests. You're not gonna be able to just kind of go back and retro it and do the games with your friends after the fact. You're gonna have to play it on that day. Get yourself Anniversary. It's an amazing skin. Looks great. Get your party on with Annie. I love it. She's even in TFT now, so tons of Annie coming out everywhere. Really, really awesome stuff. So don't forget to log in. The day after that, the 28th, is a pretty big day. Remember that date, the 28th. Earth is back. Earth is back until November 8th. It is the all-select Earth. Let me know what you think you're going to be seeing. I'm really, really excited about this. I heard a lot of people on Twitter talking about Vlad standing in front of the Nexus, or I should say one person messaged me that he was excited to stand in front of people's fountain in Nexus as Vlad, and after 6, they just basically can't leave. You're toxic, but I want to shake your hand if that actually works. I'm excited for Kiana. I think she's going to be absolutely bonkers, if not banned all the time. But it'd be pretty sweet if you could see her get through. And then everybody was saying Garen Yumi. I mean, come on. You're really gonna spend your time flying around on Yumi? You already can cast everything absolutely on every second, so what's the difference? Don't do that. You'll feel better at the end of the day, I promise. Looking at the 28th as well, we did talk about Earth, but we also have to talk about Senna dropping on PBE. You will be able to check out Senna, the first markswoman support getting into that bot lane, and we're gonna have to see what she can do. I'm a Thresh main, like I said last week, so it's gonna be a little difficult to see that kind of lore broken apart. I'm gonna have to hook Senna as much as possible and kind of make sure that I am the one able to own that lane still. Senna, no, back into the Lantern. That's how it's going. Lucian's going in there too. Nobody's safe at all. Let's look at some of the preseason changes here as we move forward. I'm really excited. Drakes are surrounding us, and Drakes are surrounding you. So many changes coming in from these right here, and I am excited. A lot of people are saying, what are these? It's too crazy. Too much is gonna happen. I think it's awesome, and I want to explain why. It's not up until the third Drake that the game is affected. Before that third Drake spawns, that's when you get the idea of what's going to happen. And it doesn't always happen super randomly. The changes are going to happen and occur around the buff camps, around the Dragon Pit. These are all layouts that are going to consistently be the same thing for that entity. And you're going to be able to play around those, really start to understand what advantages you can use against your opponent if you're down or even if you are ahead. I really think it's going to be exciting. And after that third Drake spawns, that's the element you're going to get for the rest of the game. So everybody can continue to kind of figure out how to play around that Drake, how to make themselves a champion, and then get to the Elder so you can get Immolation and just take people out, which you can still dodge. You can dodge it, you can Zanya's, you can get a Kindred's Lamb's Respite, but if you're still burning by the time that hits you, you're gonna pop. It's gonna be fun. So I cannot wait to see what those changes are. Continuing with the roundup, let's move on a little bit here. Teamfight Tactics Set 2 is live on PBE. I saw a few streamers playing it last night. It looks absolutely awesome. And I think one of the kind of main things is there is so much to unpack. So I can't wait to talk to Riot Wittrock today, see what he has to say about it, what's a great approach to Set 2, because there is so much to unpack. You have so many more classes, abilities, champions, origins to go through, and it's going to be really awesome to see how all that plays out. Now, if you are grinding, 9.2 ends when 9.22 starts, November 26th, or November 6th, sorry, I'm just adding too many twos, November 6th. So when 9.21 ends, that's the end of the beta rank season. Grind your LP now, put your little legends to work, and make sure you get yourself into TFT to get that before it resets for Set 2. Like I said, I've seen a lot of streamers on Twitch getting on that PBE, streaming a bit of, Steel Assassins, or kind of trying to hit electricity with Lux, and I can't wait to talk about all that later. Teamfight Tactics Mobile will be crossplay as we see it coming up in 2020, so be sure to check that out. That'll be really, really awesome to be able to just kind of hang out. You're traveling somewhere, you're able to play some Teamfight Tactics with your friends who are at home, and that will be amazing. Now, a little recap of Legends of Runeterra. The patch preview was awesome. Thank you so much for participating. The entire Legends of Runeterra team wants to say thank you for watching, for creating content, participating, and just giving them your suggestions as you moved throughout the patch preview. Now, next patch preview is November 14th. You can still get on and get yourself an account for that. Go to playruneterra.com. And the drops will still be available when that goes live again if you're watching your favorite streamers. Now, a little bit of extra things that they're allowing us to say as we come out on November 14th, the new patch preview, is the Expeditions, which is a draft mode that you'll be able to go into. So a little bit different gameplay. It's not kind of just go in, normal play against somebody. Expeditions will be a draft mode that you can get your hands on. And like I said before, drops will also be something that you can get your hands on. Now, we will do a quick lane swap. I'm gonna be back in just a few minutes with Mel Swimbananas here from Riot to go over Summoner Showcase. We'll be right back. right, we back. It's Riv, it's Mel.
Hello.
Mel, thank you so much for joining me. Riot Swimbananas, as many of you may know, Mel, Summoner Showcase has been around so many times. It's been back. It's always been showing the most awesome content that our community has to provide.
I know. This is what, version number 4 that Riot Games has produced. There was the Nikasaur, then there was All Chat, then there was me on Facebook, and now we here live. Because, you know, Riot Games likes community stuff.
And there's always room for community stuff because there is so much always coming through the door. We had the 10 days of gifting going on already, but throughout that 10 days of gifting, people may have seen playing or watching streamers that things are changing within the game. Yesterday, we had the first 40 champions replaced with art that was made from our community, which is actually pretty awesome.
It's super cool. So we hired a bunch of community artists that have been with League for the past 10 years, and we had them pick one of the first 40 champions that resonated the most with them and make their own beautiful additions that went into client. So you can see it on the screen right now. We have a couple, obviously the 40 champions. When you pick one of them, it gets replaced during the loading screen. So you're not going to see the normal version or the fan art version when you're picking the champion. But when you load into the game with like Ashe or Heimerdinger, for example, you're going to see this beautiful version here. Fun fact, each day of the 10 days of gifting, in addition to giving you guys cool things in the game, is focused on a different creator community. So the first day was focused mostly on streamers. Then we had our YouTube days and fan artists. And then today we're transitioning over to cosplay. Later on this week, we're going to have musicians and esports and kind of all of the different communities that we have. So if you guys pay attention, you might be able to pick up the through line in the client of what you see in your particular region. That's
absolutely amazing. I love this because here at Riot, like, we'll see the splash art that goes out, and it's always glittery and it's always crisp. But then you're flooded with all this art, and you realize that everybody is so good in their own style. Like, somebody can make a stick line figure look absolutely amazing. Like, I couldn't even do that. It looks like something on the top right that Riot Moose would draw.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's the Sungwon Kale. Which he is a fantastic artist who does.
It's so good.
The little chibi versions.
I love it. Like, the line work on that is so clean, and the little things that you can actually look at in these are amazing. And then you have some that people put all these kind of artifacts into and effects and whatnot. They all are amazing in their own right, and I absolutely love that people kind of say, hey, I resonate with this champion that much that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make it. A few years ago for Halloween, I actually carved a Kennen pumpkin because Kennen was just my man. I had to. I can definitely relate to where these artists are coming from.
I know Riot at one point had a pumpkin carving contest.
I remember that, yeah.
You should have entered your Kennen. That would have been a best.
It was decent. I'm a tracer, though. You know,
so
it is what it is. It looks good, though. It looks good because you're still putting a lot of work into it. Just like that Tarek. He is putting a lot of work into that picture. I love all of these. The Zillion, super cool. We might need a new Groovy. We might need a new Groovy. It's been a long time. I like it. I like it a lot. There's new splashing out on the side. This is super, super cool. So what do we have to look at today? You said cosplay tutorials. Let's dig in. Yeah, so today is cosplay day. So in all of the regions, every single group is celebrating cosplayers in a different and unique way. Cool. However, globally, we commissioned 5 different cosplayers to make cosplay tutorials of champions that they cared about, that they were passionate about, but also build a skill level or build a video based on a particular level of ability. So for example, Kimpatsu was our beginner-friendly cosplay. She made an arcade Riven tutorial, which is everything that goes into the cosplay you can find at a local fabric shop. So if you're here in the US, like a Joann's, if you have access to Amazon, you can find everything on Amazon. So the idea is that this is my first cosplay. Right. I don't know how to do anything. I have a sewing machine and a prayer. How do I make a thing? It's not like a cooking show where you're just like, nope, I'm done. That's 3 ingredients in, I don't have that. Exactly. So this is Kimpatsu's edition. She made the beginner-friendly one. And then taking the next step up, we had the Spiral Cats from Korea. Tasha had an iconic Nidalee back in 2014, and she redid it and remade it and showed how to make her like OG League of Legends cosplay. So this Nidalee cosplay was the first cosplay she ever did for League back in 2014, and she's like, let's do it again and let's show the community how to make it. So and it doesn't look like there's too much to that, save for the work put into it, right? But in materials-wise, yeah, looks like it's the next level up. So like they use an airbrush, they use a little bit more complicated equipment, but nothing dramatic that you can't be able to make it. That's absolutely amazing. Going one step even farther more complicated is our gentleman twin cosplay from LATAM. He's representing Yasuo, representing all of the men. I know this looks very complicated. My word.
But it's actually what I would qualify it as an intermediate cosplay. Things that are complicated in cosplay can be armor and weathering, which you can tell he's a master of.
Yes.
And he teaches you how to do it in his style. His hair obviously is also going to be complicated whenever you're dealing with a Yasuo. Getting that thing to stand up on your head can be over.
Probably has a paper towel tube going through there, maybe.
He basically has like a metal rod that he's like glued the hair onto, and then has Warblow, which is a heated thermoplastic that goes underneath the base of his wig. So then that way it can stand upright. But he did one as well.
That's amazing. It looks almost animated in itself.
Yeah.
Like if you watch a cartoon as your kid, you're like, oh, that's more animated. That's something that's gonna move. That's kind of like that idea you get from him.
Awesome. So a whole different subset of cosplay is prop building. So going up to the advanced level, we have Tazy Zhang from China showing us an advanced prop build of how to build the Pulsefire Caitlyn gun. That's what it's called. I almost said gun goddess. That's not the way.
Almost though.
So kind of the same feeling. So she showed how to build the gun piece by piece, just the prop. She didn't talk about the rest of the costume because prop building is a whole other subset of cosplay. So she was going in extreme detail of how to add the lights, how to add all of the colored effects and things like that, so you can make it for yourself. And then this one's actually going live tomorrow, so tiny bit of a spoiler alert on the Riot Report.
Oh my God!
The advanced level cosplay is Senna.
Oh my word!
So Cutie Pie Sensei here in North America made Senna. We gave her all the bells and whistles. Sky's the limit.
Immaculate.
Do what you need to do. So her gun is actually 3D printed. When it's standing up next to her, it is true to scale in the game. It goes all the way up to her shoulder. It is a big, hefty piece of material. So that's why it's our master level one. You're going to need a 3D printer. You're going to need some of those advanced level skills to do this one.
That's absolutely amazing. I mean, you've done cosplay yourself.
Yeah.
So for this advanced to be done in this amount of time, how crazy is that?
I mean, she did it in a month. So spoiler alert, we let her cheat a little bit. We gave her a little bit of a heads up. We said, hey, yo, this thing's coming. It'd be
Still
cool.
amazing.
But she spent a lot of time. The thing I love about her work in particular is she takes a lot of time to pick out fabrics. She doesn't just like say, oh, this is white. That works well enough. She was like, this looks like a leather material, but it won't lay correctly in real life with this. So let's use this specific leather. Let's find this specific type of fabric. So that's what really elevates, in my opinion, this cosplay from some of the others that you might see, because she takes that extra step to know the materials.
That's absolutely incredible. I can't really kind of wrap my head around how to do that. You see something and you're like, oh, it's in my brain, I can mold and craft this. Then you go to kind of put it to form and everything comes out different, right?
Yeah.
And I love the fact that we did see that a lot of these were made from next to nothing to pretty much everything.
Yeah.
But once you have kind of the perfection of your craft, like we saw the weathering work and the armor and whatnot, you can make that trip to Joanne's look like advanced, which is absolutely amazing. So really what it takes is not going out and buying the $400 materials all the time, but knowing how to use all the $5 ones first, and then you can make them look $400.
Cosplay budgeting is a thing. It's the thing we always talk about in cosplay land. You always are like, I'm going to do everything, and then you realize you have a paycheck and you have to, live within your means. So figuring out how to do something from a Joanne's run is always a good way.
My SO, Anea, does cosplay art, and it's kind of related to my motorcycle stuff, is where it's never going to cost what you expect it to cost at first. Budget it, make sure you can do it, so you're not kind of hitting a wall and like, I don't want to finish this anymore. Because I'm sure that can be a thing too, where it's like, oh, there's only a week left before PAX or before Worlds, how do I get it done?
Con crunch, man, it's terrifying. I think I've been up to like 5 in the morning the day before con trying to get something done, and then it doesn't work, and then you're just crying, and then you go to sleep, and you have fun anyways, because video games.
All right, so what else do we have on the docket?
So obviously when you're celebrating 10 years of League of Legends on the internet decides to celebrate along with you. We had a lot of fan artists showing off their cool things out in the world, so I've collected some of my favorites and shown off some of the ones that I think are particularly cool. Like this first one from Isamitsu, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. She made this adorable chibi art of their favorite champions. So obviously you have Lulu, Morgana, Ezreal, etc. But the idea was just their favorite champions over the last 10 years, people that they think are super awesome and super cool.
Who's in there for you?
I mean, Lulu's one of my favorites just because she's
in there with
adorable,
Lulu?
it's cute.
Yep.
If I had to put my own champions in there, they'd all be 80 carries because I'm a one trick, and that is being an 80 carry, I guess.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. It'd be Thresh, Kennen, and maybe Morgana or Lulu on there.
Chat, who would be in your art?
Yeah, who's in your art?
Tell us who's in your art, chat. Similarly, Super Riso also made a 10-year art. This is what they put together and collaborated with. You'll notice that this style is similar to the comic that Super Riso did with us. They did a Zyra comic a while ago collaboration, so they used the same style and some of the same characters. Fun fact, Super Riso said that they've been playing since Vayne came out. Vayne was the first champion that was released when they started playing.
I like that. What was yours?
Ari.
What's your class of?
When I started at Riot, I was Project Yi.
Okay,
but I started playing League of Legends when Ari was released. So
awesome.
Ari was on Free Week when I started playing.
Yeah.
And that's how I played Sivir, because I liked Ari's Q that went out and came back. And level 5 Mel was like, well, I like that it goes out and comes back. Let's find somebody else who has a Q that goes out and come back. Wow, Sivir, done.
Sweet.
That's who I'm gonna main forever. Done.
Perfect.
Easy
Yeah, I don't
peasy.
remember who was out the week I was, but it was Class of Karma when I started. So still back there, still back
Got
there.
a champion. You're lucky. I got a skin. All right. Going on with more of the League 10-year stuff, we have Mia Cat. She actually made this for the event for League 10-year over in Korea. So all of the offices across the globe had various different live events, and they made this particular piece for the Korean office. So this was not just featured on the internet, but also featured live at the event. So in the program, when you arrived, you saw some of these beautiful drawings. You saw it like up on the wall as you came in. It was I saw a picture where it was up the escalator as you came into the stage in Korea. So it was fantastic.
Heck yeah.
I think it's really cute because it's like cartoonish and almost like that Disney Pixar style.
Yeah, I love it. It's like they're happily off to fight with the warband, but nobody's gonna get hurt. They're coming back home. We also had a few answers from the
chat.
The triple. What would you put in your champions? And like Jin, Ezreal, a lot of Ash for some people. Morgana was still in there, so it's cool. Thanks for participating from the chat. We are checking it out as it's moving quick, and we'll keep getting that update in there. On to next art.
We have Rainy Gaze from Chile made this super cute comic. So Yumi Garen is a thing.
I saw this.
So this is what the expectations versus
awesome.
reality. The idea is that, hey, Yumi's just gonna heal this tank. It's gonna be great. But the reality is she's just like an automatic assault rifle just sitting on this giant tank that's running around.
Put the book down. Put the book down.
So I thought Rainy Gaze is an artist who particularly likes memes, especially from esports.
This is great.
Hence why they're celebrating of 10-year is with a meme from the esports community. But I also like that they took that and added in their own kind of fun spin with the gun, I guess, popping out of the book specifically.
Yeah, it's like, Yumi is the one you have to be worried about. Say hello to my little friend.
Yep. So Rostraws is an artist that's been around the League community for a long time, and he, instead of making new art, kind of rebumped some of his old stuff. And I don't know if you've ever actually seen Ross's draws, but his YouTube videos are what's really cool. He takes a photo of, say, his mom eating an apple or something. And then he will, literally, random things, and then he will take the colors that appear in that and play with them and move them around live to video and create art like this Misfortune. He's done a Misfortune.
That's his mom eating an apple? I'm just kidding.
I don't know if that's what it is, but it was something originally. So there's a Misfortune, there's a Jinx, and I believe he did one other one that he shared up. But these are all pieces that he's done in the past. So
people are asking, what is that stream, if you know it?
He does it on YouTube. So just look up Rostraws on YouTube.
Okay, on YouTube.
It's YouTube video. He does a YouTube compilation of all of these things. So
very cool.
Super
Thank you
cool.
for that.
Yeah, and he does it in very dramatic and unique styles.
So this is that kind of whimsical thing I was talking about earlier, where you can have no background to your art and it still looks glorious, and you can do this and put and that effort into it, and it still looks beautiful. Like, I love that juxtaposition, but also being on the same level.
Yeah, and I think the thing that he really adds is the joy of like seeing the process again. They are completely random photos. He'll take a picture of ramen and it'll become something. And it's I don't understand how it works. My brain doesn't function like that.
Zach Monster. I can see it happening.
Obviously, since League 10-year announcement, we announced a couple things. Riot Games maybe did some stuff on the internet.
An S.
Well, maybe, and one of which is Senna. So we had a couple of Senna art that's popped up into the world, like this one from Jewel Shi, I think I'm saying this correctly. Fun fact, they were an intern this past summer here at Riot.
Really?
So
Very cool.
They had a little bit of insider help with art style, not necessarily knowledge.
I can see why they were an intern.
You can see why they were an intern. So there was a lot of Senna art. This one I
very good.
particularly like because you had the effect of the smoke coming off of the cape itself, right? Like it's almost like she's coming right out of the lantern in front of you.
She's still materializing.
Correct, yeah. Next one for Senna that I pulled out was Lunzunde. They made this as a warm-up before they started doing real art, quote, quote, on the internet.
And that's when I don't like you anymore. You're like, my hand fell on the page, and this is what happened. No, that's absolutely amazing. What an awesome piece of art.
This looks like one of those emotes that are like up on Facebook or something where you can react. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely,
we have those This looks like one of those, like, I'm throwing shade emotes.
Actually, I feel like that could be Legends of Runeterra sticker.
Oh, yeah.
As it comes out, somebody plays like a block to your card, and you're like, you give them the side eye. You're like, really, no. Jerk?
No, not allowed. Okay. Get out of here. Something you talked about Riot Report last week, KDA Gragas.
Oh, baby.
Somebody put him into the game. He's a thing. He's a thing. So Riot Chan was the Riot artist who obviously made the piece on the side, and then Noah Warner is the community member who's like, I love this idea. What would it look like inside of Summoner's Rift?
And now Noah has a job, apparently? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't think Noah has a job.
That's amazing to iterate that on just a night. I love it. Like I said before, it kind of brings back the Shushay dance from Season 1 Worlds when he grabbed the water jug and opened up his Fnatic shirt. Yeah. But also, it needs the prestige blacklight skin. You need to cover him in spray paint. Give him black light.
Noah, if you're watching, we need the blacklight version. Or Jason, give us the blacklight version. One of you,
we'll
somebody.
Call it Super Sexy Gragas.
Yep, that's Riv's named it. Congratulations, our skins team. You don't need to do any work. All right. Obviously, we had Senna, and then we had some fun stuff coming out of the on-site activations. You talked about it earlier, the Annieversary skin. She's getting some love, of course, on the internet.
So cool.
We have two that I've pulled out. So this one first is from Crystal Mew. It's much more like chibi and adorable. I feel like it really evokes the Annie, like, cutesiness, if you will.
Yeah.
Much more of the, like, hey, I'm a little girl running around. I feel like Disneyland, but not really Disneyland. I don't know what the path is.
If you were to just see it, you would be really cool with walking up and saying hi. If you're in the know, you'd still stay far away. I like it.
And then the next one that we found was from Cicero. This one's a little bit more of the, like, full cartoon, full anime version rather than a quick sketch. Again, I love in particular how people have taken like the cutesiness of Annie and then was like, okay, where would Annie go? This looks like Annie's at Worlds, right? This looks like Annie is celebrating League of Legends.
Worlds. I get like a World Stadium vibe, like she's also in like a tournament.
Yeah.
She's using Teemo and Aporo. Gotta catch them all.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, something else we announced. The internet keeps asking about it. Chat keeps being like, where's my drops? Legends of Runeterra. Legends of Runeterra already has art up on the internet. Did you know that?
No, I did not. I mean, I know we put art up on the internet, but if you that quick?
Yes, the community fell in love with a couple of different cards, particularly the Crimson Aristocrat card. I don't know if you've actually seen this card out on the internet yet. This particular Noxian woman, I do not know what her name is, appears in a couple of different pieces of art. The one that people tend to enjoy a lot is Crimson Aristocrat, which is the name of the card. So go look that up. So this one by Mercury JC is just her like out in the world, being a human, being a thing. And then the internet does what the internet does best with Girl X Pirate and started shipping cards. So cards have already been shipped.
Of course.
So here you go. This is Crimson Aristocrat card being shipped with somebody else. I think it's also the other person shown off in the card, but...
Is this a kill one to draw one?
I think so. I'm not 100% sure. All I know is the internet, it was like, tell me this woman's story, and then they drew pictures of her. So,
there you go. I mean, the lore comes out from every which angle, right? And if the community has a chance to have a say in it, we will.
Exactly. So last thing in this month is Inktober. So the month of October, for those of you who are not fan artists, is Inktober, where every single day artists will challenge themselves to create a new piece of art, to draw something new, to have a prompt, and then make a thing related to it. A couple Riot artists put out some prompts called Skintober, where they say, hey, on day 1, make a Star Guardian art, and then on day 2, make a project art, and on day 3, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what I've done is I've collected a couple of the Inktober arts, because it's October, so you gotta celebrate Inktober.
Absolutely.
So first we have Yonari Art, who was the Tarek from earlier. Fun fact, they love Tarek. They draw mostly
This
Tarek.
is the Splash Tarek.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was going to say,
this is the same artist.
Same line work. Very nice.
This is their Immortal Journey Tarek. So taking the new skin line that was with Nami and that whole crew and making a Tarek edition.
That is so good. I feel like that needs to come out with Dawnbringer Karma.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be super cool together. And then to go with the theme of treasure, Tumaruski made this pike, which I thought is particularly awesome because we can't quite see it from here, but there's like cell graphics details, almost like in a comic, where there's like dot lines and work that shows it off like a comic style.
That's cool. He's like a big kaiju. He's a giant ocean monster. He's gonna come into town and just start ulting people for every 25 seconds. Watch out! It's broken.
Coming in with the true spice, the real spice, the good internet spice is one animator.
Hit it.
This is George, Star Guardian Nico's familiar. I'm sure you know the story of George, the OG story of George.
I do. I'm surprised he's still with us after all the trials and tribulations he's gone through, jumping off of Summoner's Rift.
Yeah. So George not only has survived Summoner's Rift, but he's become a Star Guardian, and now he is, I guess, spicy Star Guardian frog.
I feel like jumping off of Summoner's Rift is something similar to like what you'd see in Thor when they jump off Asgard. They're just like falling forever until they're not, and you're like, hey, by the way, I'm back. I'm back. And then it's George, and then he's like, by the way, let me do a sexy hip pose. Here you go.
What's up? Draw me like one of your French girls. All right. And then last but not least, my favorite piece that I found this couple weeks on the internet is by SKVRBA. I do not know how to say that as one word. KDA Goosecalli. Because why not?
It is so good. Causing trouble, being a nuisance, rebel without a cause. KDA Goosecalli.
You know, sometimes you just got to be a goddess with a blade. Do it to him.
Got us with a beak.
Nice.
And floppy feet.
Well, that's all I had for Summoner Showcase this 2 weeks.
That's absolutely amazing.
Did you have fun?
I had a lot of fun. Did you have fun? I'm going to wait and chat. No,
Chat, tell us if you had fun. We will awkwardly stare and wait.
Absolutely. So, before you go, by the way, this is Swimbananas, Riot Swimbananas.
Hello.
I did see a few people in chat say, who is this awesome person? This is Mel. Mel will be here every so often with Summoner Showcase as it is revived and brought back again, and it will be here to stay, hopefully. But how can people participate a little bit more? How do they, you know, a lot of people are making art. How do they say, I actually want this to be seen by Riot right away? Do I tweet at Riot, League of Legends, read a report?
Use hashtag Summoner Showcase if you want Summoner Showcase specifically to see it. If you want Rito Report to talk about it, use hashtag Rito Report. So Summoner Showcase to show off your art and things. Topics for him to talk about, Rito Report.
Absolutely. So we're going to take a quick break right now. One more big thank you to Mel for joining us, and Summoner Showcase. They'll be coming back more and more here on the Riot Report. Again, I am Riv. We'll be back in just a few minutes with that interview with Riot Wittrock as we go over set 2 of Teamfight Tactics. Don't miss it. That wasn't so bad, right? We're back, and we are here with Riot Wittrock. Wittrock, thank you so much for joining me.
Morning, Riv.
Super excited to have you here. Teamfight Tactics has been taking everyone by storm. I know a few people may have started to play in the beginning, but then they're all afraid of changes. So now they're getting back into it, and I want to kind of fill them in on what's going on, because watching some streamers last night, there is quite a bit to unpack.
Yes, yes.
So let's get into it. First off, to break the ice, I kind of want to get people to know who you are. What do you play in TFT? What kind of person are you?
Sure. I'm a more creative, off-meta build sort of player, so I like to chase the sort of 9 Yordles, 9 Sorcerers, leave Pirates in my comp until round 30, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. You're just raking in the gold. That's good, though. That's good. You're not just like a dirty Yordle or like assassin builder or whatnot. Knowing everything in the game, you just be like, I know to play this, into this, into this, and we're good. That's good. It's good. So starting off, First, I have to ask you, how much fun did your team have making this new set? Because you were the lead for that set, correct?
Yes, yes. And it was a blast. I mean, ever since we knew that we wanted to do kind of large rotation sets like this, kind of going through that process, figuring out how much change we wanted to do, it was really fun, and we've been playtesting it for now a couple of months, and so we're so excited to have players start to play that version of the game.
Absolutely. We have a question from a player from the Oceania League. From Oceania, I should say. Ashon Lowell says, how do you decide what champs make it into a set?
Sure. So for this set, we really focused on hitting a strong theme, which is Rise of the Elements. So we were kind of very focused on what pre-existing LoL champions or League champions with their skins would fit that sort of theme. Then we have to hit a good mix of, you know, sort of kind of marksman characters and tanks and backline access and interesting spells, and that kind of all comes together for a set.
Is there one thing you notice, you're like, wait, we have too much of this as you're building? It happens to be?
Absolutely. For every set, there's usually something that we're missing a little bit of. So it might be, hey, it's too hard to deal with an AD carry, or mages don't have enough answers. So the end of the process is definitely trying to fill in those final gaps.
Absolutely. And how much does lore play, kind of, if any, while creating that in the world of TFT?
We're not as focused on lore. We kind of are intentionally instead exploring the kind of League multiverse. So we still care about the kind of characters, but it's not Runeterra specific canon. It's, hey, let's explore all the universes, Project, potentially KDA, obviously Elements in this case. So we're pretty excited for that.
I think that makes your job a little bit easier too, because of all the different things we're seeing coming out now with Steel, Ocean, and like you said, flexing towards the skins, not necessarily the origin of that champion themselves. So I'm really excited, and I think most people are. One of the huge changes was that the board is getting bigger.
Yes.
The board is growing in size, but there's also going to be elemental hexes on the board now. So how does this play into your TFT game?
So the board is bigger. There's 2 extra rows, 1 for each player. That should give a little bit more positional agency and depth. There's also the elemental hex system, which is every game there's going to be an element, which means that a couple unique positions on the board, if you start a unit in that hex, they're going to get a bonus.
Awesome. And I actually saw that minions don't grab that bonus. They can't be in the hex.
They don't.
Makes it a little bit easier for those early rounds when you forget and just grab Lissandra or something.
That's true.
So
Lissandra's not in the set.
That's right. That's right. So looking at this, I want to take a look at Qiyana, because there's a lot of other cards that go in there as well. But Qiyana's special in the fact that, well, she's there. There's actually only 4 of her in the set.
So Qiyana is the first time we're trying something, which is that she changes one of her traits every game. So with that element of the game and those hexes, she will also match that element. She's always going to be an assassin. She always fits into those comps.
Perfect.
But some games she'll be mountain, some games she'll be ocean, etc.
And is there kind of one where you're like, I want Qiyana this game?
We've seen all of them kind of do their own thing.
Perfect.
The ocean team where you're casting a lot of spells, or the mountain team where you're more defensive. We've seen a lot of interesting builds.
So when the team was creating like classes and origins, like you were saying, when you're fitting everything together, how kind of difficult is it to, or how, I should say, how easy it is to say, okay, we can't use this champion anymore, we have to use a different one, or kind of flex in and out?
Yeah, we definitely do kind of different champion swapping, and we actually build a sort of larger set than we intend to actually ship, so we have some flexibility. So it is part of the process, and yeah, we do some swapping.
All right, so let's talk about some of those new cards again. We did talk about Qiyana. Lux is in there, but there's Ocean and different origins and classes. How did these all mix? What was your idea with kind of Rise of the Elements? What did you want players to feel?
So a big structural thing we're looking to get more out of set 2 is game-to-game differences. This is partially why the elemental hex system is there, but also the structure of the trait should mean that you're not as locked into a composition as you're building it up. You have more small defensive options for the late game. You have more kind of narrow counters that'll fit into different builds. So we're looking for more flexibility and creativity there.
Absolutely. And with Lux, we know she comes out as the 7 card. And there's a bunch of other ones as well. And with the new change in kind of rate drops as well, it feels really good to see a little bit of the cards earlier and be able to play those. I saw Scar play a Lightning Lux last night.
Yes.
And it was
very powerful Lux.
Pretty disgusting. But you choose out of all those Luxes. There's still the same amount of Luxes for that 5 kind of
the 5 cost rarity, yeah. So there are 10 different Luxes in the game. So, but each one of them is a different element. And so once you see a Lux, that's the only electric Lux in the game that you can take. Now once you take it, every future Lux you see is gonna be that element. So it's sort of a, hey, there's probably an ideal Lux for my composition, but if I see one that's pretty good, do I make the decision to take that one and slot it into my comp immediately, or hold out for the best one? We're hoping there's some interesting decisions there.
That's awesome, because I had a few people asking me last night when I was watching, they're like, so there's 10 of each? And I was like, that would actually be pretty crazy. There'd just be lasers everywhere.
Yeah, not quite.
So Lux leveling up still happens. You can find level 3 Lux.
You can 3-star the Lux. I've already seen it. It probably wins you the game. Very hard to do. You need to pay 63 gold to 3-star a Lux.
I think, God, that's absolutely ridiculous. I'm usually the guy that's like, I have 20. That's so much, bro!
Do you want to go to level 9 or 3-star your Lux?
Yeah, exactly.
I recommend 3-starring the Lux.
Exactly. I just imagine this 3-star Lux being like Exodia or Fiora attacking 4 times, and as soon as you make 3-star Lux, literally, anybody could be at any point in the round, and this laser just comes across every board, just like a Kamehameha, and fires down everybody. Good luck if you get that. I want to see it. Hashtag Riot Report if you actually do.
Send me a tweet.
Now, what do we got?
One question.
Swimbananas coming in with I almost fell over. At Amar, the second. I'm a third, but seconds are awesome too. We need seconds to get to thirds. Why do you say card when it's not a card game?
We use kind of the term card or champion or unit a little bit interchangeably.
It still kind of feels like you're building a deck of some sort.
And so I think the term card is kind of stuck because that's kind of the way they look in the shop, but we're not super specific about that.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what is your favorite thing so far that you have worked on in this set?
I think it's got to be Lux, to be honest. I'm just already seeing the kind of different highlights and plays and decision-making and kind of strategy that players have employed to try to find those different Luxes is really exciting.
So talk to me a little bit behind the idea, kind of somebody in a meeting saying, hey, we need a 7 card, but it can be the same as a 5 rate.
It didn't start out as we need a 7.
Okay.
It more so started out as, hey, we're doing Rise of the Elements. We got to do something with Elementalist Lux.
Okay.
So that was kind of the starting point.
Perfect, perfect. So with that, how do you say Lux can do this? She's going to be one of her own. Did you just, you had to do something super unique for her?
Yeah, that really was kind of the starting point. We knew that the various elements that she showed would be really exciting. We also knew that, those skins are beautiful and so well made, and so being able to get that into TFT was exciting for us. And we know the players really like Lux, and this would be a good time to really give her a good time to shine. People really wanted her in set 1 as a noble sorcerer, and we're like, hey, we think we can do even better than that.
And you have Summoners, Mystics now, a whole bunch of other things. How much did you want to keep kind of the old classes and origins while adding new ones, or did you want them all to feel different?
So we wanted a pretty different feel for the set. A lot of the fun, we think, of TFT is that sort of learning and discovery and creativity process.
Yeah.
And so if most of the set was the same, we were pretty concerned that you would kind of quickly adapt to the few changes, but then the game would feel pretty similar. Now, not everything is different. We left some champions the same, some spells the same, and a few traits the same to kind of give you those anchors and some stuff you were familiar with, places to compare, but we want it to feel pretty different.
Very cool, very cool. Looking at, as people are saying, there's so much to unpack. You've had so much work done on this. What would you say, we have a few more questions I think coming in too, is an easy way to start unpacking set 2? To not feel overwhelmed, to say, okay, maybe learn the origins or classes first, or maybe kind of just go at it and try one set for a bit.
Yeah, so I think actually for set 1 as well, and probably all future sets, get into a game and try to experiment with something, right? You see a couple Berserkers in those first few turns, just buy all the Berserkers, see what that build feels like, see what works, see what doesn't. I think kind of investing in particular comps and testing those, and then kind of trying to deal with the myriad of counters and flexes and defensive options can kind of be learned over time. So get into a game, build all the Berserkers, build all the mages, try it out.
Heck yeah, that is absolutely super cool. Now, what do you got for us? Thank you very much, the Bananas of Swimmingly. I appreciate it. We got Luis Plasta. I thought that said pasta, but it's Luis Plasta. New Lux skin for TFT when? Ooh.
New Lux skin? We're giving you 10 Lux skins. Yeah, there's.
Where's the chromas of all 10?
We are no plans at this time. Maybe the question is, hey, will Lux be in set 3, be in set 4? Will we use Steel Legion? Will we use her base skin? maybe. We do want to keep doing different versions of champions. Sometimes it'll be their most iconic ability. Sometimes it'll be something that's more supportive to the rest of the cast. We want to keep doing different versions of the same champion over time.
I think it'd be cool if maybe Lux went like Lucent Singularity next time.
Yeah,
And then the 3 or maybe a leveled up 4 or 5 hexes she hits, she then autos those people to burst her life.
Yes.
Right?
That sounds awesome.
In sequence.
Yeah.
Boom! There we go. We're doing it right here. Luis, beautiful job. We just came up with something new that might work. Jedi Master Geo. Jedi Master. Will there ever be a new set in the middle of a ranked season?
Not something we're planning, at least. We think ranked is also a good...
Are you trying to say League did it wrong?
Ranked is basically a good opportunity to really show what you're doing for that set. And the game is so different, and what we're testing each set is going to be a little bit different, where we kind of want to reset the rank. Also, we don't want to throw you into ranked right away, so when the season launches, play some of those normal games, practice a bit, and then jump into that ranked system.
Absolutely awesome. I believe November 6th is when people can get back in.
Yes, that is the launch date. It's on PB right now as well if you have PB access, so watch those streams, check it out, but get excited for November 6th.
It's going to be awesome. Set 2 coming out, Riot Wittrock. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure to catch that set. This is the lead designer on it. Make sure to keep the questions coming in because we'll answer them in our next show on November 6th when all of this drops. We'll be right back with a little bit of esports, so stay tuned.
Sweet.
Welcome back. I appreciate you hanging with us for these short breaks. If you have run to the bathroom or not, or just stayed, you are awesome. Keep the stream up, even if you're playing some League, even if you're playing some TFT, and we'll talk a little bit more about everything here at the end of the show to kind of round it out and let you know what's happening and what will be coming up for November 6th. Now, moving on, though, we are going to be talking a little bit about esports. You may know that Worlds is currently going on. It is the 2019 Worlds quarterfinals that will be coming up this Saturday, and I am very sorry to announce that all of North America has been disqualified from Worlds. Not disqualified, they lost out. It was a great run for a few teams. We have to understand that, Liquid had a rematch. It was a big one. They couldn't make it happen. And Cloud9, maybe their parade did get rained on. And, maybe it's a good thing that Clutch is rebranding. Who knows? Who knows? But all kidding aside, they fought hard, they fought well, and there is much to talk about. Knowing that the teams moving forward are going to be from the European LEC and the LCK, they have some really, really great teams up on the docket for Saturday. Quarterfinals are going to reach out to Griffin versus Invictus Gaming. Can Chovy finally make it work against the reigning world champions of Invictus Gaming? Will they be able to make it happen again? Who knows? We have seen a little bit of falter in them, but both teams still playing strong. That will start off on Saturday. After that, best of 5 quarterfinal match, you have Fun Plus versus Fnatic. A lot of people are putting Fun Plus over Fnatic on this one. I know they're fighters. Fnatic has been kind of not down on themselves, but saying, we will work hard, we will make it happen. Please believe in us. And I think Fnatic is a team that can definitely make it happen. I've seen a few of the casters and the analysts rating Fun Plus over that. I think Fun Plus will definitely have a very good fight for that game. They have been performing towards the end of what was the group stage now into quarterfinals. So have to watch out for that. Moving on to Sunday, you have SKT versus Splice. Good luck. That is going to be a tough one. But never down and out. We have to remember what Misfits was able to do in the 2017 quarterfinals versus SKT, bringing them to 5 games in what was one of the most awesome series that League of Legends has ever been able to watch. So, if you tune in for that one, you may also get what they call on that side of the world, a banger. Now, looking at your final game of Sunday, that best of 5 between Damwon and G2 Esports. I think a lot of people feel that G2 Esports has kind of brushed off the cockiness. We did see them fall very hard a few games into that group stage. So if they can pick themselves back up, be the G2 that a lot of the LEC remembers, to just kind of play their own game and not even give their opponent the time of day to make a play happen. That's the G2 Esports that we're going to probably find in the semifinals to the main stage. Those are your 4 games going on through Saturday and Sunday. They are starting quite early here if you're on the West Coast. Be sure to check out watch.lolesports.com for your times, and the schedule is up there as well at lolesports.com. Now, be sure to hit up your pick'ems as well as we do get yourselves over to that world stage. There's, I think, quite a few left. I don't have the number in my head. I don't even know why I tried to do quick maths, but we're not going to. Looking at the most iconic plays last year was really, really awesome. LOL Esports tweeted out today the most iconic teams, referencing last year's most iconic plays. It was really, really cool. So this year it's going to be, who do you think the best team is in World's history? Is that going to be any one of these teams in their current state, from the left or the right side? You figure it out. You vote for it. Keep tweeting. The voting will come out later in the day. I don't know if LOL Esports has yet tweeted that, but be sure to check out that Twitter account and make sure you are on top of it, because this is really fun. Last year's was really, really cool too. Moving forward now, we do have a few talking points for Aries. There's not much new to discuss as of right now, but there were a few tweets coming up from the Aries team of Greg Street and Chris Tom, kind of confirming a few things, and this is what they were. Greg Street says, while we are honored by comparisons between Riot's Project A and other games, they aren't really the same genre. Project A is a tactical shooter, lethality is high, and you do not respawn. Map control and gunplay are key, as well as the abilities are more about utility, not taking someone out. Chris Tom then added roughly this: Project A's game pacing is much more methodical and strategic than action shooters or hero shooters. Tactical shooters tend to be defined by their planning, precision, and lethality and deliberateness. Project A definitely falls into that camp. Just really excited to share the few things with you. Like we said, it's all about transparency here on the Riot Report. These were just tweets, but maybe you didn't see them. They did come out after they said Project A was going dark, and there's little tidbits here and there that are allowed to be shared, just not much more than what the devs are saying about the game. So we're very happy to continue to share these things with you as Project A comes along, and they are dark for now, but you will hear more in 2020. It's time to close out the day. It's time to close out the second edition, or the second episode of Riot Report. I want to thank you so much for joining me. Do remember that you have Senna coming out on PBE on October 28th. We're still going through the 10 days of gifting right now. Earth is coming out October 28th through the 8th, so make sure you get yourself in there for Earth. That is going to be super fun. Esports, again, Worlds 2019 is starting up this weekend on Saturday for the quarterfinals, as we're kind of going through the laundry list here. November 6th is a big date. That's when we will be back at 10 a.m. That's when TFT Season 2 the Set 2 drops as well. We just talked to Riot Wittrock. That means that the 921 beta ranked season of TFT will be ending then as 922 starts. So make sure you get the end of your ranked season in and put your little legends to work. Be sure to still check out your shop. Like I said, the 10 days of gifting. And I do want to bring up something that we're going to bring back here on Riot Report. You may remember something called the Legendary League of Legends League. Just great plays that you see all the time, whether they're amazing, whether they're terrible, whether they just made you laugh. Hashtag Legendary League of Legends League. We want to bring it back. We want to see whatever plays you're making, whenever you're making them, whether you were playing alone, whether you were streaming and you were recording it, send them to us so we can put them on Riot Report and we can all enjoy them at the end of our day. We'll open it up as a mailbag and we'll just have a way to recap everything along with what you've been doing awesome in the community as well as in-game. Whether it be Legends of Runeterra, when you get a chance to play it again on November 14th when the patch preview opens. That's right, Legends of Runeterra opening back up on the patch preview November 14th. Make sure you're out there for the drops. Make sure you're out there because expeditions will be starting. That's right, the draft card game mode. So make sure you get Legends of Runeterra locked into your brain. November 14th, patch preview will open. And Legends of Runeterra isn't available now because they are patch previews, because they're just little segments. We're getting people in, we're getting you to play the game, get your ideas, and get your suggestions. And then we bring it back, iterate, and again on November 14th, we'll get that same chance. Again, make sure you get yourself over to PBE to try out all the TFT changes. If you're honor level 3, you can get yourself signed up for a PBE account. Just go ahead and check that out. If you just Google PBE League of Legends, it'll take you right there. And so much awesome stuff to come. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Riot Report. That is going to do it for this show, and we will see you next time on November 6th as we're going every other week. Good luck, have fun, and good night.